Several new developments in South suburban Dalton today. First, the state comptroller has suspended some payments to the village because it has failed to follow the law by providing financial reports.
You could feel the anger tonight at a Board of Trustees meeting in Thornton Township. The board and citizens looking for accountability to their finances while the township supervisor.
Is Tiffany Henyard's tenure as mayor of Dalton finally coming to an end? The answer may be closer than we think. There have been rumors that federal agents have found new evidence and are gathering testimony against Mayor Henyard, placing her at the center of an increasingly complex web of scandals ranging from claims of financial misconduct to odd antics and possible betrayals by her closest allies. Once Mayor Henyard's ironclad grip on the town appears to be slipping, could this be the beginning of Dalton's so-called super mayor's downfall? Let's examine the juicy details and find out.
Deep debt, and that is the finding of an investigation of village finances and the spending habits of beleaguered Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
For people who are not in the know since taking office, Tiffany Henyard has been involved in a number of scandals, each more shocking than the last. However, things are heating up right now. The FBI is in the area, subpoenas are flying, and sources close to the investigation say Henyard may receive an arrest warrant at any moment. Additionally, there are rumors circulating that the feds have uncovered information that could finally land Henyard behind bars, and some of that information is coming from.
The way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing.
Here comes Louis Lacey, the disgraced deputy police chief who was once a devoted supporter of Henyard. Now, Lacey finds herself at the center of his own legal drama after being charged with 9 counts of bankruptcy fraud, making false statements, and even perjury. The accusations made against Lacey are serious, but what's even more intriguing is the theory that he may be working with the authorities to protect his own reputation. If that turns out to be true, he may be disclosing a lot of information about Henyard's activities. And if that happens, Henyard might be left hanging.
Mr. Lacey is absolutely not guilty of all 9 counts. I believe he's cooperating. And if you cooperate, you have to admit your guilt.
Consider it. According to insiders, Lacey wasn't just a passive player in the Henyard game. He was right there in the thick of things, involved in some of the very financial shen that have landed him in hot water. We're talking about thousands of dollars in dubious overtime cozy deals, and who knows what else with the feds now zeroing in on every transaction, every decision, every whisper in the shadows. Lacey was someone that Henyard trusted implicitly, and he was even known to act as her bodyguard on occasion, shielding her from critics and detractors. Dalton Town Hall's hallways, therefore it seems sense that Henyard is perspiring.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime, and instead we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
However, it seems that more insiders are willing to speak out than simply Lacey. Rumor has it that someone from her own office, or even a former ally, has been providing material to investigators. These days, Dalton is full of whispers. The problem is that those who once supported Henry are pulling away from her, afraid of being pulled down with her sinking ship. And let's not forget the scandal concerning her charity foundation. On the surface, Tiffany Henyard Cares seemed like a good endeavor, a cancer charity in memory of her late father. But when you peel back the layers and you discover something much less selfless. The organization has been charged with some very serious mismanagement, specifically improper registration with the Attorney General's office, complete lack of transparency about the usage of funds, and a right to cease and desist order. When it became apparent that the foundation was functioning without the necessary papers, the Illinois Attorney General's office slammed the Henyard charity with a cease and desist order. If a charity doesn't even bother to file the necessary paperwork, what else raises suspicions?
But it saddens my heart that you are up here at this special meeting and not downstairs where we have big meetings.
And then there's a juicy bit about her spending habits. Remember the $33,000 she allegedly spent in one day on Amazon? That's right, folks, one day 30, all on taxpayers' dime. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Recall that former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was hired as a special investigator to look into Dune's finances, discovered a long list of questionable expenses, including first-class travel, fine dining, and even personal items. She was horrified to learn that Henyard had used the village's credit card like her own ATM. With receipts like these, It's no wonder the village of Dalton is drowning in debt.
Would make a one day purchase of over $40,000 to Amazon. And the main thing is,
Talking about debt since taking office, the village's finances have taken a nosedive. An investigation revealed that what was once a multi-million-dollar surplus has now turned into an astounding $365 million deficit. How does someone go through millions of dollars so quickly by living large? Of course, she spared no expense, even building taxpayers for a series of political junkets, which are fancy terms for vacations that most of us would consider to be trips to hot spots like New York, Atlanta, and other places that would rack up tens of thousands of dollars in hotel bills. These weren't just any junkets, though. These were trips to New York, Atlanta, and other places, with a 9,347 stay at the Four Seasons in Atlanta. Come on, who does that end all the while the village's debt load continues to rise? State officials have also taken notice of Hen's antics. It's like a scene from a reality TV show, except the consequences are all too real. And let's not forget how Henyard got here in the first place, a story of ambition manipulation, and some would say deceit. Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza has stepped in and frozen payments to the village until they get their financial house in order. Mendoza didn't mince words when she called out Henyard's behavior, describing it as disrespectful to the people of Dalton. Tiffany Henyard began her career with great aspirations and lofty promises, but she wasn't always the troubled mayor we see now. In 2021, the mayor of Dalton wrote a letter of support, promising to clean up the town's act. However, as time went on, her promises turned to dust instead of transparency, cover-ups instead of responsibility, and hubris. Her pursuit of self-interest has been nearly unrelenting during her tenure in office.
I think you should pay everybody. Is there a reason why you guys are not paying whatever that vendor is?
What was it for?
It was for shirts. That's what it's for.
Her management of the town's police department almost soon after entering office was one of the first indications of danger. She began to shake things up by replacing top officials with people she could trust, people like Liz Lacey. Initially, it appeared to be a cunning political maneuver to establish allegiance and consolidate control. However, over time, it became evident that this wasn't about good governance, but rather control. Henyard used her influence like a club, utilizing it to silence critics and advance her agenda frequently at the expense of the town's welfare. Her commanding presence earned her the moniker Doton Dictator, and it wasn't just for show. There were rumors that she used the police department to exact revenge on former colleagues, critics with a zeal that bordered on obsession, and there was also the purported abuse of the police power for her own safety, which resulted in copious overtime expenses for the cops. It's almost tragic in a way that she came into office promising to bring about change, but all she brought was chaos. From her dubious spending to her erratic behavior at town meetings, where she frequently speaks into a golden microphone. Instead of inspiring confidence, Henyard has left a trail of mistrust, anger, and debt. Some say she ran the town like her own personal farm, and there's plenty of evidence to support that claim.
We get invoices, but those invoices lead to more questions, and sometimes we don't get answers to those questions. And so it's not about clickbait, it's about just making sure the right thing is being done.
And now that federal officials are sniffing around piled up subpoenas and supporters are backing down, it appears the chickens are coming home to roost. The residents of Dalton are growing restless and demanding answers, responsibility, and most of all, a mayor who isn't always making headlines for the wrong reasons. Herds wants a stable job that appears to be anything but the whispers are spreading quickly.
Manpower was just very stressed and critical to the point of almost break.
Time will tell, but one thing is certain, things are not looking good. With every new piece of evidence and allegation, the walls are closing in, leaving the people of Dalton to wonder, was it all worth it for Henyard? The answer may soon arrive in the form of handcuffs. So what's next for Henyard? Can she weather the storm, or is this the end for Dalton's super mayor? With her back to the wall, Henyard may be down, but she's not out yet. Watch this space, people. She's sure to come out swinging, but will it be enough to save her, or is it already too late? There's one thing for sure, Dalton will never be the same. The outcry from fans over Tiffany Henyard's scandal-plagued term as mayor of Dalton is just as intense as the scandals themselves. Many are eager to voice their annoyance and shock at the ongoing wave of wrongdoings and the absence of responsibility. There is a strong sense of betrayal felt by those who have watched Henyard rise to power, as another fan pointed out. You know what is the saddest part of all this that doesn't get a lot of attention? I realize that the residents didn't get a vote in electing her to supervisor, but if they re-elect her, they get what they deserve. Of attention. What do you think will happen to Tiffany Henyard in light of the latest allegations? Is this the end of her controversial reign? If so, do you think justice will be served? Or is there more drama yet to unfold? She is a Doane citizen at heart, and that is her true home. She is brutally taking advantage of the fact that stealing is bad, but stealing from your family is even worse than people in your hometown is family. It's evident that for many, this isn't just about politics, it's personal. We would like to know what you think. Thank you for watching, and until we see you again, leave a comment and let us know where you stand.